Hello again, folks. Shane here with Shane's Premier League review show for match week 32. Crystal Palace and Liverpool was the first game up last week. It was a good game. Crystal Palace managed to start well. The long ball down the pitch managed to catch Liverpool out again. Christian Benteke headed the ball on, and Wilfried Zaha got in on goal, and Karius managed to take him down, and referee Neil Smallbrick managed to give a penalty. It was a penalty as well, and maybe it was a coming together, which the keeper got in Wilfred's way illegally, I reckon. So, penalty all day long. And before that as well, Zaha had another good chance, which Karius managed to save. But there was no keeping out Milivojevic's penalty to give the Eagles the perfect start, 1-0 after 10 minutes or so in the game. Liverpool had a lackluster first half. They never really got going. However, they came out a different team in the second half. Mane managed to come up with an equaliser early on in the second half after early pressure, obviously, in the game. The second half. And then the game sort of ebbed and flowed throughout the second half. Christian Benteke had two glorious chances to win the game. But he hasn't been scoring too many goals this season, so he really is out of form, and you'd feel sorry for him, really. But from Liverpool's point of view, they got away with 2 or 3 things within the game, even including them 2 chances. In my view, Sadio Mane should have seen a red card. He dived in the first half. He was inside the box, and the defender clipped him, but he did not go down straight away. And he delayed the reaction, and then he did go down. So therefore, in my view, it was a dive, and he quite rightly managed to see yellow for the defence. Well done to the refereeing team for that. However, they didn't cover themselves in so much glory when during the second half as well, Mane thought he was getting a free kick, and he deliberately went and handled the ball, despite maybe expecting the referee's whistle to go. The referee's whistle did not go under any circumstances, so therefore Mane deliberately handled the ball. He put his hand on the ball so clearly, like the way you'd nearly handle a basketball. The Crystal Palace players appealed to the referee, but unfortunately, from their point of view, the appeal fell on deaf ears, and Mane got away with one, and he remained on the field until he was taken off about 5 minutes later. But by God, he was a lucky boy. Everything went for Liverpool on the day, and they got a lucky break with 5 minutes to go. The ball was crossed into the box. The ball managed to fall to Mohamed Salah. He managed to take it down and score a goal with his weaker foot for a change. It's brilliant to see. And Liverpool picked up a quite wonderful and fortuitous 3 points at Selhurst Park in the race for the Champions League. Right, now we'll move on Manchester United took on Swansea City, and this was a comfortable win for the Red Devils. Romelu Lukaku got things underway with 5 minutes gone with a great shot into the top corner. I think it was his 100th club goal as well. Scoring plenty of them also with Everton and West Brom, but he managed to pick up his 100th Premier League goal. So fair play to him there. An excellent achievement, and a good goal it was. And Alexis Sanchez managed to score his second goal, I think, for Manchester United. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he really got up and running with a brilliant shot past Lucas Fabianski in the Swansea goal in a half which Manchester United dominated. During the second half, Swansea created several chances, but they couldn't get past the very, very good David De Gea, in my view. He's basically the best goalkeeper in the world at the moment, and he proved so last week with 2 or 3 wonderful saves in a 2-0 Manchester United victory to put them back in second place once again. Newcastle and Huddersfield. This was a big relegation battle. Newcastle managed to come out on top. Huddersfield managed to hold on for long periods during the game, but the Newcastle pressure paid eventually with a scrappy goal from Jose Perez to give Newcastle, I think it was maybe their 3rd home win in a row. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. But a crucial win nonetheless. And Huddersfield are in trouble, and Newcastle look as if they're in a strong position to get out of trouble. It's the way it looks at the moment, anyway. On to another relegation battle, West Ham and Southampton. Southampton once again never showed up, despite being under new management. Mark Hughes' first league game in charge of them. It never paid dividends in any way. Well, West Ham were much the better team from start to finish. Mark Arnautovic came back to haunt Mark Hughes, scoring 2 wonderful goals against him, along with a cracker from João Mario to give the Irons a much needed 3-0 victory after 3 weeks off. So if they couldn't get it right within that amount of time, as well as going to sunny Spain, I think, on their holidays, then they really don't deserve to be a Premier League team. But as it is, they managed to pull themselves together, finally, hallelujah, and there was very little unrest at the London Stadium last week for a change, and the Hammers fans were smiling, and the team were smiling, and they got a good victory. And as for Southampton, they're not in a good position. They've plenty of hard games coming up. They have a few of the top sides to play as well, so it's not looking good for them. And they could well be a championship side next season. West Brom and Burnley. I know you're getting sick of me saying it at this stage, folks, but West Brom are doomed, and it showed again last Saturday. A lackluster first half display. Managed to see them fall 1-0 behind with a wonderful goal from Ashley Barnes. Then in the second half, Chris Wood managed to score a good goal. Again, he got his head in where it hurts, and it paid dividends. And West Brom put up a bit of a better show within the second half, and they got a goal from Salman Rondon with about 8 minutes to go in the game. But again, they were left pointless, and Alan Pardew was subsequently sacked as Baggy's manager, and people are saying he's going down as the worst manager in West Bromwich Albion's history. He had one league win in his time there and a victory against Liverpool in the Cup. They're not good enough, and they're going down to the Championship. They're going down to the Championship, even though it hasn't been confirmed yet. They're a terrible, terrible side. Mediocre at best, and that's me being kind. They've been absolutely desperate all season, despite being unbeaten in their first 3 matches, I think. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm right. And since then, it's just been a total write-off, and that's it. They look for a new manager now, and they look to stabilise once again and look for some sort of light at the end of the tunnel. But I can't see where that's coming from. And they may be able to bounce back again from the Championship to the Premier League next season. But they're also in a bit of financial difficulty, if memory serves me right. So, yeah, they're in trouble. Sorry state of affairs at the Hawthorns at the moment, but there you go. Brighton and Leicester. Brighton blew a huge opportunity here to pick up 3 points. Glenn Murray got a penalty with 10 minutes to go, which Kasper Schmeichel managed to save, and then the ultimate kick in the teeth followed when Vicente Ebori scored a good header to give the Foxes the lead, and then as Brighton pushed forward, despite their best efforts, they couldn't score, and 10 men, Leicester, hit them on the break after Wilfred Ndidi was sent off, and Jamie Vardy finished off a well worked goal to give Leicester a fortuitous victory. But nonetheless, it was a victory, and Brighton are in a bit of a sticky situation as well. So it's basically a toss-up as to 2 out of the 3 teams that are going to go down. We know West Brom are down basically, but it's who's going to follow them. That's the multi-million-dollar question. Brighton didn't do themselves any favours anyway. On to Watford and Bournemouth. This was a strange game in many ways. Kiko Firmino Firmina managed to give the Hornets the lead in the game from a corner, I think it was. Then just before half time, the ball was put out of play by one of the Watford's defenders' hands, even though the ball was gone out of play anyway after the keeper's save. Bournemouth got a penalty out of that, obviously, and Josh King stuck it away comfortably. Then in the second half, Pereira managed to score a scrappy goal to give the Hornets their lead back, and basically nearing the last kick of the game, in the 91st minute, with Watford winning 2-1. Bournemouth popped up with an equaliser, and who else but Jermaine Defoe to score a great goal to give Bournemouth a point. 2-2 was a fair result, I'd say, due to Watford's stupidity within the game, handling the ball when they shouldn't have done it, etc. You have to watch it for yourself, folks. If you don't agree with me, you'll have to see it for yourself. It was a stupid handball, and it was unforgivable, really, as the ball was going out of play. Anyway, so yeah, 2-2. That game ended up. We'll move on now to Everton and Manchester City. This was a comfortable win for City on their march towards the title. If they get 3 points in their next game, they'll be league champions finally. We've known there was going to be champions for an eternity now. It's just going to be performed on Saturday. Anyway, back to last Saturday. City dominated basically from start to finish. They had a blistering half an hour at Goodison Park where they managed to score 3 goals. Raheem Sterling, Leroy Sané, and Gabriel Jesus got 3 wonderful goals. A thrilling performance, especially first half from City. In the second half, City managed to take their foot off the pedal a little bit, and Everton managed to get a goal from Yannick Bolasie to put a bit of respectability on the scoreline. But it was City today, true and true, and as I said, they'll win the league on Saturday if they get victory against Manchester United. Right, on to last Sunday's fixtures. Arsenal and Stoke City. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang managed to come up with 2 goals, including one from the penalty spot, and then Alexander Lacazette managed to score his first goal in a little while in a 3-0 victory. However, this didn't tell the full story of the matches. Johan Shaqiri and Stoke managed to come close on several occasions, but when your luck's not in, when you're down near the bottom, when you're in the relegation zone, it just really doesn't go for you, and they were quite unlucky in this game on several occasions. However, Arsenal managed to pick up the 3 points, and that was the result. Arsenal were shaky throughout the game, but the goals came in the last 15 minutes, and therefore they just about edged it, really. There you go, and then the final game of the week of last weekend took place at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea and Spurs. Chelsea took the lead in a must-win game for them. Alvaro Morata gave them the goal from a header. However, Spurs responded just before half time with an absolute cracker of a goal from Christian Eriksen. And Dele Alli managed to score late on in the second half. Well taken goal, good control, and he finished it past Willy Caballero very well indeed. And then he was so high in confidence, he managed to nick another goal before the end to give Spurs their first ever victory at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League. Fair play to them there. And that's game week 32 reviewed. I'll be back with a prediction show ahead of match week 33. So look out for that. Take care. If you like it, subscribe and comment if you wish as well. If I've made a mistake, don't be afraid to correct me. All the best. Take care from Shane.